All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode of the Man Cave Podcast with your host, Solo LB. This man next to me is a ghost. He almost died, which is why we didn't have it's not why we didn't have an episode last week. We didn't have an episode last week because I was being lazy, and George was in a fatal car crash.
Yeah, I'm not here right now. This is literally a ghost.
But no, man, I didn't want to ask you what happened. Yeah. Seemed a little personal. I know you were heated over the text messages. I was upset, yeah. So I wanted to know, like, if you felt comfortable talking about it 100%. On the pod.
I mean, so I was driving to Jersey.
Yeah.
And coming off the 76, and you know the split, that's like either you go northbound 95 or southbound 95. And I guess this fucking guy was in the wrong lane. Like he was like on the southbound and then just made a dramatic fucking cut into northbound in front of me. And then there was already a car in front of me. So he cuts in front of me and it hits the brakes. So then I have to hit my brakes. And then I'm like, I either hit him or I just make a hard left into the barrier and just fuck my car up. So I'm like, I'd rather just fuck myself up instead of have to deal with the insurance, that person, who's at fault, the whole thing. Right. So I was like, fuck it, I'm just going to take the hit.
Wow.
And then I get out of the car, like on the highway to check the damage. And it wasn't even that bad. I'm like, okay, low body damage, fine. I'll just deal with this shit later. I'm going to just go where I'm going.
Yeah.
Soon as I got in the car, my fucking alignment was shot the fuck out. So my wheel was all the way this way to go straight. And the entire time I'm just hearing grinding. I'm like, this shit about to blow up. And then I'm like, all right, so just get the car off the highway.
Yeah.
All right. But there was still about half a mile to the exit to come off of like Girard, Aramingo area.
Oh, you was in the hood.
Yeah. So I went up there and then I ended up in a plaza around Aramingo. And I get out and there's fucking smoke coming out of my tire.
Yeah. Because you ran it into a fucking...
I'm like, cool. And then I look under and there's a fire.
Oh, shit.
Underneath. I'm like, oh, yeah, this shit definitely about to blow the fuck up. All right. So I call 911. Homie, this shit was ringing for 2 minutes. I'm like, how the fuck is 911 ringing? Is this not an emergency line?
Oh, my God.
I was like, I forgot. I'm in North Philly. they screen calls in North Philly.
Real shit.
I was like, all right.
Yeah, it's a 215 number. Yeah.
Nah, fuck that noise. And then they eventually pick up and I'm like, yeah, it was an accident. No one else was involved. It was just me. But there's a fire under and, I would like the fire department to come check it out. So the fire department shows up like 15 minutes later. This bitch doesn't even get out the car. Or the truck, right? She pulls up. She's like, what's going on? I told her there was smoke coming out. There was a fire under there. It does seem to have faded away because I don't see the smoke, but I don't know what's going on.
Yeah.
And she, from the truck, it looks all right. And just fucking drove away.
Are you serious?
Yeah, never got out of the car.
I love Philly. That's some Philly shit.
Never got out of the truck. Didn't check it. Fuck it. If it blows up, who gives a shit? I was like, cool, right?
Wow.
Then a cop pulls up and was like, you called? I'm like, not for you. I called for the fire department.
Right.
That didn't do shit.
Right. Wow.
And then I told him what happened. He was like, if you want a police report, you got to call state troopers because it's on the highway. I can't do nothing.
Yeah.
I'm like, I wasn't even calling for that.
Right.
That's not going to help me at all. He was like, are you okay? I'm like, I'm fine.
Bro.
And he just drove away.
Bro, I have so many questions come out of this shit. First of all, after you spared another driver instead of rear-ending him, which is crazy. It's crazy. Right.
Yeah.
Did he even stop?
There was a pause that I noticed, but then they just said, fuck it.
Wow.
Yeah. Because I know they know, oh shit, it's because of me cutting in front of him like this and then hitting the fucking brakes.
Yeah.
So there was a pause because the car in front of him, they eventually moved and he stood for like 2 seconds and then fucking just took off.
Wow.
And I'm like, part of me was like, get in the car and chase him. But then when I got in and the alignment was fucked, I'm like, well, this is not going to take me far.
Nah. Damn, he could have at least made sure you was all right after he almost killed you.
Almost fucking, and I hit my head and I fucked up my hand that still hurts. But outside of that, it's fine. I'm just more mad at the car.
Your situation. Yeah. Nah, for sure. Damn. So
and then so the whole week I'm stressed the fuck out, right? Just annoyed. And last week I started doing contacts, so I have contacts in my eyes. And here's the kind of cycle that I am.
Yeah, you are wearing contacts.
So here's the kind of crazy that I am, because Thursday was Wednesday night was a rough night. Thursday morning was no better.
Yeah.
And like, I'm not really perfect at getting them in and out yet. So I'm trying to get the contacts in Thursday morning and it's fucking pissing me off, right? So I said, fuck it, put them away. I just tossed it and left to work. And the kind of crazy that I am is that I didn't even grab my glasses because I'm like, if you're too much of a bitch to get the contacts, then you don't deserve to see today. Wow. You just gonna be a little blurry, you fucking pussy. You don't deserve the gift of sight.
So you don't risk 2 accidents.
Fuck it.
Wow.
I was like, and then I got home like, you're a true psychopath. Yeah. Who the fuck does that?
Wow. Were you were going, and this was like your day to go hang out, right?
Yeah.
It's so funny when you told me, I was like, it would happen today on a day when he's going to go hang out and do shit for himself. Yep. So now his wife can say, well, see, this is why you don't need to go anywhere. Right.
and then what happens is like my wife and her mom come to like pick me up and shit because we have to now call a tow truck and, and I'm heated, right?
Of course.
And so my wife shows up and naturally I'm like, this is your fucking bad juju that you just put on me. She was like, I didn't care. I didn't give a shit. And then her mom was like, no, she was at the store just eating. Like she didn't care.
Wow.
I'm like, all week she's been complaining.
Wow.
And then I got in an accident. I was like, juju, the bad juju.
Bro, energy is real. But were you ever in an accident before?
Not like that. I mean, well, yeah, there was one, what year was it? 2018. So, and this one was funny too, because it was like, I was getting gas in the car. It was like a 2000, I don't remember, Mazda Tribute, right? And I was putting gas in the car after work and I'm looking at my tires and I'm like, I need to switch tires because the back ones were fucking bald.
Yeah.
And I'm like, if I need to stop, this shit's gonna slide. 5 minutes later, when I drove out of the gas station, right? And then it was just traffic. And then like I had to hit the brakes because the car in front of me suddenly stops. And I literally slid for like 10 feet.
Wow.
The car just would not stop.
Yeah.
And then I hit the car in front of me. And I'm like, because of the fucking tires. I was like,
driving like Frozone.
Bro, I'm like, it's like if I had never seen the tires, would this have happened?
Yeah.
It's like in the movies where people get shot and don't know they're shot until they see they're shot. Yeah. And now they're dying. It's like the same shit. I'm like, if I would have never noticed the tires, I would have been fine.
I mean, it could also work in reverse. Like you look at the tires, you realize they're bald, so you drive a little bit slower. George.
Naturally, that's
the more responsible adult thing to do.
I was like, fuck it.
No, like I've seen some of the dumbest I've been in a few car accidents myself, but I've seen some of the dumbest car accidents of all time. Mm-hmm. 2 of them involved my cousin. So one time, well, let me talk about myself first before I start dogging.
Yeah, that's how comedy works. You got to bring yourself down before you bring others.
Nah, real shit. So I'm like, it's like 10:30. Like a Friday night, I'm on 52nd Street. I'm in a parking spot. So I'm getting ready to pull off, but a guy is turning in front of me.
Okay.
And like he like took his sweet time turning, and I'm anticipating going behind him, like to make the right turn and go behind him. So I start driving and I hit the back of him.
Oh my God. What? He just never moved?
Bro, he was just like, it was like he was turning in slow motion. And I was just like.
And you thought he would just be normal.
Yeah. And so I pulled off and he was like, yo, pay attention. And my brain couldn't even register what just happened. Cause I'm like, did I really just drive into somebody turning because he was like the Matrix? like what the fuck just happened? But it was like obviously my fault, but thankfully the damage wasn't that bad.
Yeah.
But bro, my cousin, for like a week, I had this meme that I made, like Super Mario Brothers. You know how they got the go-kart shit? A Mario Kart. I changed the font to name it Super Crash Brothers because him and his homie had rented I think they rented Camaros.
Oh, Jesus.
So we're out. It's like 2 a.m. in Philly, you know. Red lights are green. Stop signs don't exist.
Yeah, no. It's a rented car.
We haul ass
in Miami license,
bro. And we're in Kensington under the L, bro. Man. So we're haul assing. There's like, okay, there's a car here. There's a car here, and then I'm like the 5th car and at the light.
Okay.
My cousin's in the front. He drives off and makes the left, and as he's doing that, I noticed that his friend, like 2 cars behind him, drives around the traffic to go through the light.
No.
And hit my cousin.
No. What?
Bro, this shit was so funny. It was like, first of all, they had both just rented the cars, like the same day, and they got the exact same car. It was both black Camaros. Yo, my cousin.
I know the insurance was sick.
Oh my! I don't even know.
It was like, how the fuck did you hit your homie?
Yeah. In the same car. When my cousin got out the car, he was like blind. He kept talking about, yo, is my eye still there? I'm like,
that airbag.
The airbag fucked his ass up. And it was the funniest thing was that I was going around to the right. But there's a truck in front of me. And mind you, it's 2 a.m. So there's some people going home. There's some people going to work.
Yeah.
The old head who was just sitting at the light, waiting like a normal person for the light to turn green. He just looked up at the 2 cars crash and just was like,
dickheads.
Just like, because now the whole intersection is closed off. Everybody got to turn left or right to get off the road. Bro, it was crazy.
I know I would have been clowned.
Oh my God.
You got 2 black Camaros that are, y'all just run into each other. That is, you can't make that shit up.
Fast and the Curious. And then the other one that he had, I wasn't there. He told me about it though, but I'm just imagining it as the stupidest shit that I've ever seen. He's on the highway. He had just met these girls coming from the bar. They're going to another spot.
Second location.
You know, the after hour.
Never a good option.
Yeah, it always ends poorly. The after hour, I've never had a good after hour experience, bro. But they're following him to the after hour spot. They're doing like 80. He said that, you know, it's like, it's late as shit. So it's kind of hard to see certain cars. So he said he's on the highway and all of a sudden he sees a car that's like double parked on the highway. Okay. There's no shoulder because it's like narrow.
Yeah.
So they're just sitting in the middle of the road. He's haul assing. He sees the car at the last minute, swerves around the car. The girls behind him don't see the car. They go straight into it.
Oh my God.
And all you hear was them screaming.
What he do? He stuck around and he kept going. Damn! I really would.
Like, I don't know, y'all. I'm sorry.
That's not my problem.
Oh man,
keep up and fucking. Damn.
This is why they tell you don't follow so closely, bro. Because you would have seen the car if you wasn't on his ass. God. Yeah. Yo. Oh man, car accidents are some of the most annoying things because the 3 that I've had to go to physical therapy for all of them, and like my lower back has probably fucked up twice, and now it's just like never been the same after that.
Yeah, car accidents are like, they suck to be in, but they're entertaining to watch.
Oh my God. I hate people like you. I hate
you ever get those like TikToks where it's just like a compilation of car accidents? I'll never swipe away. I'm like, damn. That's
like, look at this idiot. Just
you be trying to watch it like, all right, what's going to happen? Who's going to hit who? Yeah. And then when it happens, you're like, who was at fault? I don't know.
That's the ones that I hate though. Like, just show me the accident. Don't ask me to debate people in the comments. It's like people are always like, insurance broker here. Well, I can tell you.
Which I believe you, Mr. Internet Man.
Oh my God. Okay, bot. First of all.
That's your whole thing now. Yeah, no one exists online now.
Nah, but yo, the thing with these car accidents online, like there's this trend now where people are like, oh, I can make this cut. Have you seen these yet? Okay, so there's a guy, maybe like a GoPro inside the car or outside the car, doing like 100 on the 65. And when there's 2 cars in 2 separate lanes next to each other, they try to shoot the gap. And just everyone that I've seen they have banged out. Everyone that I've seen. Like, why is this a thing? Are you trying to kill somebody?
I guess they're just like the adrenaline. Bro, it's like on the way here, like if you know how like lane splitting like on motorcycles is a thing.
Yeah.
Right. I hate seeing it when it's a motherfucker on a fucking little scooter.
Like the little moped?
Yeah. Okay, I'm like, come on, you're not on a bike, bro.
And you can barely do 60.
Relax. So like on the way here, I had a dude like, and they don't do stop signs. They just be like, fucking, I'm on a bike.
Yeah,
I'm like, you're not.
Exactly.
You're not.
Exactly.
You're on a fucking scooter.
Right.
And so he's just going, and then he's like, red light. So he tightly goes on the right in between cars and then goes all the way to the front, right? And me, because I'm a spiteful person,
oh my God.
I see him like playing with some shit and I'm like, I'm gonna honk the horn on this motherfucker. You want to be in a rush? I'm gonna rush you. Right. And as soon as the light turns green, he was looking down. I'm like, bam, 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 bam. And he was like,
I want to get an air horn for that exact. Bro, I was on South Street one time. And if you're from Philly, you know South Street, the streets are tight and the sound is amplified because of that.
It just bounces off the fucking buildings. Oh my God,
bro. I'm walking across the street. I'm not walking slow. I'm not distracted. I'm walking across the street. Guy is coming out of an alleyway onto South Street and blew this fucking air horn. I thought my heart was coming out of my back, bro. Like that's the most obnoxious sound you could possibly hear if you're walking.
I saw a video where some dude had it. And he was like driving by like a golf course and would wait until they like tee up. As soon as they see the jump come up, coming down, and then fuck them up on they swing.
Yo,
and they just look over. And then they don't say nothing the first time. And then they like try it again. He goes again. Fucks them. Then they all be like, what's your fucking problem, man?
Yeah. Golf is exhausting. So for you to be out there and somebody's fucking with your stroke.
That's a crazy sentence.
As soon as I said it, I was like, nah, but speaking of strokes, you said you've been you just started watching Severance, but not too long ago.
So I started Severance last month.
Thanks to me.
Yeah. You've been telling me for years.
Yeah.
And naturally I would believe you. Because I don't do shows. Like I don't do shows.
Yes, you do.
Breaking Bad, Game of Thrones, top of the line shows.
Okay.
All right.
Severance is that. Oh,
it is.
Yeah.
I didn't know it was. All right. And then I was like, you know what? Second season's coming out. I had 3 months of free Apple TV.
Gotta use it.
Fuck it. All right. So I tune in and the first season is masterful.
Yep.
Like I'm locked in from the beginning. Like my wife says that it's kind of slow, but it's slow with a purpose because every frame is a decision made.
Yeah.
And if you pay attention, it's more information every time. So I absolutely loved the first season. Excited for the second one when it came out. Locked in. And then naturally, just how shows do, they have some filler episodes, and they had a couple filler episodes back to back on some Naruto shit. Yeah. And I was just like, you're losing me. Yeah. You're fucking losing me.
Yeah.
And then I didn't watch the episode last week when it came out because I just wasn't in the mood with the with everything.
With the crash out, yeah.
And then I heard it was also not great. And so I was like, I'll just watch it when the season finale comes out. I'll watch them back to back. But it also wasn't bad. The one from last week wasn't bad.
Yeah, I didn't think so.
But the finale, what do you think about the finale?
I was a little torn, if I'm being honest. And without saying too much, like, I was torn because...
No, here's what I'm going to say. Like, spoiler alert. Because we have to be able to talk about it, right?
That's fair.
We watched it. If you haven't watched it and you're sticking around, then you probably don't care. And it's going to be in the title. So if you clicked it, expect us to talk about Severance. So spoiler alert. Go ahead.
Okay, disclaimer. Yeah, I felt like for as much information as they had given up to that point, I thought, and maybe I just misunderstood how it works, but the... what's it called? The process where they're reintegration. Yeah. I thought that the any mark and the outie mark would now share one consciousness,
which I think is the end goal.
Okay,
it's just he hasn't finished the integration yet.
So that's what kind of threw me when he was walking. I guess walking in and out of meeting Miss Trunchbull or whatever the fuck her name is.
Trunchbull.
Yeah, but you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
That's what kind of threw me, as I'm like, are we finally going to get to see this interaction? Like, are we going to get to see how this plays out?
Yeah.
Only for like the climax to be like, oh yeah, he remembers what he told his sister about the Audi's wife, being severed. Yeah. And it just, I don't know. I felt like it was missing something.
I didn't feel that way.
No,
because
maybe I'm missing something. Yeah.
Because what I really enjoyed was the conversation back and forth between himself, going outside, recording, coming inside, recording. I really enjoyed that because it was weird because as soon as I started the episode before, I was like, they can never talk to each other, like, unless I guess they do that recording shit. Like, they'll never talk to each other.
Yeah.
And then they did the recording shit. I'm like, yeah, that's the only way they would do it. And I was like, this is dope. I like the fact that they get to communicate because otherwise they would never.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, outside of that, the innies had only ever really cared about themselves.
Right.
Their whole motivation is just so that they can continue living.
Yes, they're creative.
Yeah. And they didn't, like especially with like Dylan now, like he thought like his Audi was an asshole.
Shit.
Right. And then Helly like hates her Audi self.
Yeah.
Right. So they don't have good relationships with their Audi self. Right. I think Audi Mark fucked up communicating to the innie Mark when he was asking him for a favor, like help me get my wife back, because it really did seem like there was nothing in it for any Mark.
Yeah.
And then he tries to like be a little condescending, which like, oh, I heard you found someone down there, and then gets her name wrong. That's when he lost him.
Yeah.
That's when he was like, the fuck why you even got her name in your mouth?
Yeah.
Right. And then like people are upset at the ending because it's like, there's a theory that Helly is not Helly, that it's actually Helena who went to go get Mark to keep him down there. Because like beforehand, she was like, just go be with her. And then before he left to go get Gemma, she was like, I'll see you at the equator. Right. It's like, that's their goodbye.
Yeah.
And then she just shows up at the door almost like you can still pick me, by the way.
Yeah.
And then almost like, and then Mark was like, fuck, I don't know this bitch. Whoever you are banging on the other side of the door, I don't know you.
Yeah.
I know her.
Yeah.
Right. So like people are upset and they're like, oh, this is like, it's not Helly because they think it's Helena because that's a cruel thing to do. And based off of Irving's, remember he was like, Helly was never cruel. I don't think that's the case.
I don't either.
Because a lot would have to happen in that time. She was busy keeping Mr. Milchek busy. Right, locked away. And then when would she had the chance to turn to Helena, know what was going on? Because nobody knew that Mark was going to go save Gemma.
Right.
And that he, like, oh, turn to Helena. Oh, Mark is saving Gemma. You need to go to the door. Like, how would she have that information like this?
That's true.
I think it's just the idea that they're basically teenagers, these innies. They have no life outside of that. Yeah. And these two fucked. And now, like they're their first, right? And they're locked in. And Mark is a fucking simp, right? He's like, this is my girl. So he's like, fuck it. I love this bitch. This is my bottom bitch, right?
Right.
I just don't know what the plan is. But another thing that I did notice is like, and obviously the alarm is going off, that I could play into the fact that it could be Helena, because the show is very methodical in the way that it does things.
Yeah.
Like when I told you that I knew it was Helena.
Didn't say you knew. You said you thought.
Because the bell didn't ring when she went down the elevator.
Right.
And they literally showed Dylan and Irving go down and the bell ding and she goes and there's no ding. I'm like, okay, so that's the show telling you if you pay attention, this is what's happening. But if you're not paying attention, you're not going to know.
That was a good catch.
But they also do shit with colors. So like innies often wear blue while the Audis often wear red. And then with in that situation in that hallway, obviously the alarm is going off, but it's just bright red shining on Helly. So it's like, is the bright red supposed to be a symbol that this is the Audi? Is like Helena?
Yeah.
So I mean, I could play into it, but I don't know. I don't think it is, but it,
I'm curious to see how, I guess, the story continues to unfold at this point. I will say, I'm very glad that I don't have to see Irving for 30 fucking minutes on camera, bro.
That was the worst subplot.
What were they doing?
I just didn't care for it. I fucked with him when he was there. Like my man really sacrificed himself for the crew.
Yeah.
And then he dippied. But then outside of that, I'm like, I don't really care about anything else once they started.
And I hate to be one of those people.
Go ahead.
I mean, I don't have a choice now because I'm committing to the bit. Did they just insert him for there to be like a gay character on the show?
I don't know.
Because outside of dropping an Easter egg about the elevator, like what significance has he brought to?
I don't know. Because I mean, he had the trunk of like severed people, right, from Lumen.
Yeah.
With that information. I don't know if I missed it. Did that ever come to fruition? Like, did they ever show us what that was?
It didn't mean anything to me, in my opinion.
Yeah. So they showed that, and I'm like, okay, so the Audi Irving is on some shit to try to figure out Lumen, but then that wasn't even really the case. So I don't know. I agree. I hated the subplot, and I was glad when it was over.
Yo, I felt kind of bad, but I also had a conversation with my wife about the shit. It was like when Dylan started kissing.
I was talking with my wife about that too.
She's like, would you be mad at me?
I don't think I would give a shit.
I was like, no, I would care because, and this is the kind of thing that I think a lot of guys who find out their wives have work husbands go through. It's like when you're at home, you're defeated, low energy. Want nothing to do with me, yeah, like it's no romanticism.
Okay. Yeah.
But now you got this renewed energy with basically another person, even if it's me, it's not, I'm not getting that. Yeah. So yeah, like I would feel some kind of fucking way.
See, the way I saw it, and I was talking to my wife, I was like, that's still a version of me. Like I don't 100% believe that this is a complete separate consciousness. I think it's a version of that person.
Okay.
That is the innie. Because even the wife was like, he used to be like you. He used to do things. He was never really motivated for work, but he was a nice person. And then whatever happened, now he's just like a distant also person outside and just an asshole. But I think the innie is just, he's content with his job.
Yeah.
Right. And was a version of outside Dylan just without the outside bullshit.
Yeah.
Which I think they all are.
I mean, yeah, like again, that's what they were created for. But also like look at the innie Dylan after, getting introduced to the outside world. Stuff, like now he's a fucking mess.
Yeah.
So like that's what happens when he's
turning into outside.
Yeah, Dylan. Exactly. Yeah. Like you get other factors and added into your life. You kind of have to separate like who you are or what you want. And now
he's like Irvin is also a good example of that. In the first season, he was a good little worker bee.
Yeah.
My man was all about.
And he fell in love.
And then he figured, and then he was like, and then it got taken from him. And then he was like, fuck this company, fuck Mr. Milchek. I know that's not Helly. My man just got...
He really baptized her. That was crazy.
Yeah, my man was ready to take her out too.
He really baptized her.
But yeah, once I guess that love aspect is really what they might be playing at. I mean, it's a big part of the show, right?
Yeah,
it's
it's
Gemma
a
and everything.
Theme on everything.
And it's that turning point for the innies that like, okay, I don't want to just do this now. There's life to be had.
Yeah.
I just don't know, because I was talking to my wife because she hated the ending. I liked it because I like shit that is done well and you can have a conversation. And if it pisses you off, but you want to come back, you did a good job. If it pisses you off and you're like, I don't even fucking care because that doesn't make sense to me, then you probably didn't go about it the right way. But people are pissed off, and I know they still love the show.
Yeah.
Right? They're invested in the characters. They want to know what the fuck is going to happen now.
Yeah.
So you could be mad, but you're mad and coming back.
No, for sure. Yeah. I don't think anybody's abandoning ship as far as Severance is concerned. Like I said, I'm still very much interested to see how this all plays out. But it's funny you said that about like being pissed at the ending, because do you remember how up in arms people were about how Game of Thrones ended?
Oh, for sure.
They rushed the absolute 100% hell out of it. And that's why I'll say I will appreciate. I mean, I know Severance is only season? This is season 2. Yeah. So it's still fairly early. Game of Thrones went on for like 8 seasons. But like the commitment to being consistent, like that shit is what makes shows great.
Yeah.
And I feel like Severance has that potential. Breaking Bad did it. Like there's just no drop off of like feeling like you're involved with what's happening. Like you're invested in what's happening. You want to see it till the end. And then when you see it, you're like, you know what? I'm satisfied. I can wait until the next episode, or I'm
even
happy
if it's done so well and the writing is done so well, you can watch Walter White die in the end and still be
like, damn, that was good.
Okay, maybe he should die, maybe he shouldn't. Being a fan of him, I would have liked to see him just live his life outside. Right. But seeing him die was still like, all right, this is just where the show needed to end.
Yeah.
And that's just good writing.
Yeah, that's a fact. Speaking of,
because it's like but for the Game of Thrones thing, like if the writing was being written from the beginning that Daenerys was not a good person and should be killed, you know what I mean? I think that would have been completely that came out of nowhere.
It would have been telegraphed also. Like, and it's feel like it's like a thin line between like, oh, I know this is how this is going to end versus like, oh, I never saw that coming.
Yeah. But it seems appropriate.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean? Yeah. But what was you going to say?
No, we was talking about Walter White, who, if you really think about the show, he's a fucking psychopath.
100%.
I've come to the realization I'm also a psychopath. Like, I was like chilling over the last couple of days, and I realized, and I know this is going to be like complete left field for some people like listening to this, like, how the fuck did we even get here? I too am wondering how the fuck we got here. Maybe it's just me like admitting it to somebody else, so I'm not walking around thinking about it all day. But I'll get to the point. I was sitting in the house. My wife's at the gym. I'm like working. I'm waiting for some laundry to finish or whatever. No, actually, she wasn't at the gym. She was out with some coworkers. And I'm just like, man, I really forced myself to become a normal person, to like not work from sun up to sundown, to like take time to be with my family and to be home at 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock, like a regular person, to spend time with my wife. Now I look around and everybody else is doing all this shit. Nobody's available. And I got all this fucking free time. And I'm like, I should just be working. I should just be at work and not worrying about none of this shit. And I tricked myself into being a normal human being. And now I'm suffering the consequences.
And what are the consequences?
That I feel like I'm losing my fucking mind. Yeah. Like I'm sitting in the house. Bro, Baldur's Gate.
Yeah.
I've actually learned how to play the game now.
That takes a lot of time.
Bro, I'm on my second playthrough. And this is all in the span of like a week and a half. Yeah. I'm like, this is not normal. Like, because prior to that, I had the game for like, what, a year and a half?
Never really touched it.
Never touched that Elden Ring. I was like, bro, I don't have the patience. I don't even have the desire. But now I have nothing but time to master some shit. So I'm like creating all these crazy ass, dumbass builds, even though I don't get it 100%.
It's like I have a Dragon's Dogma.
Okay.
It's
supposed to be a really good game.
I have it. I didn't buy it.
Okay.
That was fucking Eli grabbed my PlayStation 5 controller. I was walking the dog and I got a notification that Dragon's Dogma is downloaded.
Oh,
and I'm like,
God.
Excuse the fuck.
The game was like
$60. It was $75.
Oh my God.
I was like, what the fuck? And I go into my bank account. Yeah, PSN, Dragon's Dogma.
Wow.
Today. I was like, what? Right? So I go right back to the house because I'm like, did my shit get hacked?
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay. And as soon as I come in, it's Eli playing the little robot game that's built into the PS5. Okay. And I'm like, so Alina, I'm like, did you put the game on? And she's like, no, he figured it out. I'm like, not after he brought some shit. And she was like, what? So I back out of the game and there's Dragon's Dogma just downloaded and ready to go.
You don't have the like password?
I didn't.
Oh. Yeah. That's your fucking fault.
I didn't. Because it was just me on there. Fault. I didn't think Eli would just hop on the fucking PS5.
But also, he's like so small. How the fuck did he do that?
Bro, I can't believe it. So that thing, I've never touched it because I didn't have any interest and I don't have the time. I know that's one of those games as well that you got to just like figure out. I'm like, I don't got time to fucking play Dragon's Dogma. Yeah. I heard it was good.
Yeah.
But I don't got time to play that shit.
Nah. And now I'm like, I'm a paladin expert on fucking Dungeons and Dragons. Congratulations. And what's so funny about this shit also is I'm realizing like all of my friends have kids. And now as, even though I'm married and we're talking about having kids, I don't have kids yet.
Yeah.
So if I want to hit you or I want to hit John or somebody and just be like, yo, let's go, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
Yeah, nah, I got the kids.
And then you did hit me up on Friday or something, right? Or Thursday?
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, can't do it. I'm going to get in a car accident tomorrow. Just to circle back to that.
Way to make it full circle. Yeah. I was like, you know what? This is God looking out for me. I didn't want to be next to you when that shit happened.
Bro, and the shit is too, is like, like when you're, because I've had near misses, like drive. If you drive as much as I think both of us do, like you have near misses, and then some of those near misses, you'd be like, what the fuck am I doing? Because I was definitely driving a little too crazy. That wasn't even one of those situations. Yeah. Like I was locked. I was fine. I was on the phone talking to my mom at the time, just going like because I haven't talked to her in a while. Literally, bro, going like 55, cruising. Yeah. And I ran into that. I'm like, so I should have been driving like a psycho. Because you would have never got hit. I would have been fine. I feel if I was driving my usual crazy self, I would have been fine. You either gotta be the danger or avoid the danger. Yeah, I'm the one who knocks. I should have been knocking. That was masterful. Yeah. You went on a roll today. I'm proud of you. You got to get in car accidents more often. Right. Just have a depressed week and then come brain back. Up. Making you go look for extra material. Look, man, I hope you guys enjoyed the episode. Yeah, this was fun. We didn't talk about anything specific, just a little bit about ourselves, and then Severance, which is a hot topic right now. So I'm actually super eager to know what other people's conspiracy theories are for the show. Like, where do you think it's going? Do you think that's Helly? Do you think it's Helena? And I actually like too that she's the only one with different names. Yeah. Everybody else is like Marcus, Dylan, but she is either Helly or Helena. Yeah. Which I do fuck with. I think because she's the biggest difference. Yeah. Like I said earlier, like Mark Innie and Mark Audi are very similar. Dylan Innie, Dylan Audi are very similar. Yeah. Irving, we haven't really seen enough to kind of say that. That's okay. Yeah, we're fine. But Helly and Helena are so different. Yeah. There could not be more different. Yeah. And that's the only version of any Audi that I've seen that are that fucking different. Yeah. So I hope they dive into that more in the second season. I think, or the third season. I would love to see a hell of a lot more of Gemma in the third season, dealing with the fact that she just saw her man fucking toss her to the fucking wind. I don't think Mark helped get her out because he wanted Audi Mark to have her. I just don't think he wanted to deal with the guilt of her dying. He knew she was going to get killed. Yeah. And he just made a choice to get her out. I don't think he ever intended to leave. No. It's gonna be a wild season 3, bro. Mm-hmm. They set it up so good, man. Yeah, the show is already like... We got Milchek in the fucking... in here with the fucking band and Dylan over here ready to fuck him up. And also, I think Mr. Milchek is in the wrong business. Oh, for sure. My man has the craziest dance moves and is looking for any reason to dance. Fuck that. He needs to be a Webster's like consultant. Bro, he need to go open a club. Word and a goddamn dictionary. And they keep fucking shitting on him. It was like, okay, Mr. Big Word. I'm like, how you gonna fucking talk shit to shorter. Me? Because you don't know what the fuck I'm talking about. And it was like, okay, 5-syllable word. And then my man was like, all right, you gonna sit here and talk shit while the fucking wax statue is 4 inches taller than you actually were. And they was, shut the fuck up. Bro, I was sitting there like, Mr. Milchek he beefing with them now. But they gave him those racist paintings. Yeah, he was like, fuck y'all. He was like, yeah, I'm turning up. Fuck this. Yeah, man, this episode was fun. We appreciate y'all. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Help us overcome this YouTube shadow ban shit since George went just full ballistic. I don't know if it was me. DEFCON 3 last week or 2 weeks ago. Yeah. And now we're back to the YouTube doghouse. So share this. Let us know what you think in the comments. See you next week.